And well, after Republic TV exposed Pakistan for its fake picture at the United Nations yesterday, now a desperate Pakistan has pulled out an amnesty report. After being completely embarrassed at the UNGA, Pakistan is now using the amnesty report to counter India in a desperate attempt to cover up for their gaffe yesterday. Alright, Republic exposed to you how Pakistan had showed the wrong picture at the United Nations. Maliha Lodi, of course, put out that picture at the UNGA in her right to reply, and soon after was left red-faced and embarrassed on the world platform as their lies were soon exposed. And now Pakistan, in a desperate bid to cover up for the same, have now pushed for an amnesty report at the UN. I want to go across to Aditya Rajkal for more information on this. Aditya, for obvious reasons, Pakistan, of course, is trying damage control now. They've now resorted to putting out an amnesty report.
Absolutely. Already Pakistan is embarrassed at the global platform at the United Nations on the issue of state-sponsored terror. And yesterday, when Republic TV investigated that particular picture that Maliha Lodi was holding in her hand while responding to India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, we discovered that that picture originally belonged to Gaza in Palestine and in fact not the Kashmir Valley in the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir. So clearly Pakistan's bluff was called. This is the kind of propaganda that Pakistan has been indulging in for a very long time to distract the attention of the international community from Pakistan's sponsored terrorism to whatever is happening in the Kashmir Valley. So clearly, Pakistan's lie has been exposed. Its own senior diplomat and representative in the UN, Maliha Lodi, was caught lying red-handed at the United Nations General Assembly. And yesterday night, out of desperation and frustration, they have released the Amnesty International India chapter report on JNK and the pellet gun victims. Now, this does not in any way justify the fake propaganda that Pakistan has been running. And of course, External Affairs Minister has responded to it at the UNGA. But we do expect a further response from India as well later in the day. But clearly, as of now, they have responded with this Amnesty International India report, an organization which deals with human rights, but clearly is exposed because of the propaganda that Amnesty International has been running for a very long time with a complete bias against India.
Aditya, at this point, yes, Pakistan is now resorting to using the amnesty report in the UN. But having said that, at this point, they've already been exposed on a global platform. Their lies, the lies that they're peddling really, as far as Kashmir is concerned, lies completely exposed in front of the entire world. Has there been any sort of apology that Pakistan has issued, considering that they used the wrong picture to spread lies at a stage like the UN?
Well, it doesn't seem like Maliha Lodi believes in correcting mistakes, and this isn't the first time that Pakistan has been indulging in such kind of propaganda. So no clarification, no apology, no remorse coming in from Maliha Lodi, one of the top diplomats of Pakistan. It does indicate in a way how Pakistan is trying to brazen it out. She has not even deleted the tweets mentioning that particular photograph and poster that she had shown the United Nations General Assembly yesterday. So the question right now is Pakistan, trying to build a narrative based on lies on the issue of Kashmir when in its own backyard there are massive human rights abuses, excesses and atrocities happening in Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. So clearly, as of now, Pakistan is exposed. They may, come up with 100 such Amnesty International India reports, but the reality will remain the same, that Pakistan is a terror state, and perhaps it has come a long way from being called a terroristan. It is a liaristan now.
And, Aditya, you were pointing out that possibly we could see India once again issuing some sort of a counter statement. India, no doubt, will be putting it out for the world to see that Pakistan is peddling lies as far as Kashmir is concerned. And we're not just, of course, referring to the, information that they've really put out, the so-called information that they've put out, but also with regards to Maliha Lodi's big faux pas. Aditya?
Well, yes. In fact, what we do believe is that later in the day, India would be exercising its right to reply at the UNGA. Yet again, perhaps our First Secretary, Enam Gambhir, who very ably and eloquently responded to the Pakistani minister earlier, will be responding yet again and exposing Pakistan.
Right. Aditya, I request you to stay on with us. Colonel V.N. Thapar is joining us on this broadcast. Colonel Thapar, you know, yesterday we saw a big embarrassment for Pakistan and the kind of lies that they're peddling, all of that was exposed at the UN with that fake picture that they used. Now, in a desperate tactic to cover up for that, they're now using the Amnesty report to put out what's happening in Kashmir. How long will Pakistan try to peddle these lies about what's happening in Kashmir?
Yeah, actually, you see, you are assuming that Pakistan gets embarrassed. It is beyond, it's a nation that has gone beyond embarrassment. They have been embarrassed on almost every issue that has come up in the United States, including a cold shoulder given to the Prime Minister of Pakistan. What more do you want? Still, they don't get embarrassed. They are doing anything, any pinprick that is available to them to ginger the issue. You know, they have shown this picture. It is a blatant, shameless kind of a thing that you can do at an international forum. Now, to cover for that, if you are bringing the issue of pellet guns, which is entirely our internal affair, and which is for which we are answerable to the international community, and we will answer for that. What have they got to do with it? Because they want to pour oil on an issue so that it burns more. I mean, that is the kind of thing that they're doing. Mischief at the international level is just not acceptable. And we should not take any cognizance of this kind of a thing. We should go ahead with whatever we are doing.
But you know, Colonel Thapar, my point is simply this. They've clearly lost all credibility at this point. The fact that you go on a UN stage and put out a wrong picture, that itself shows, you know, what kind of lies that they've been peddling for the last many, many years. But having said that, don't you feel that, you know, they should put out some sort of an apology for putting out wrong information, for putting out false information on a global platform?
Did they put up the apology for Pathankot, for Mumbai, for the ruthless killings that have taken place in the valley? Have they put up an apology for anything at all so far? And when you keep on giving proof after proof, they deny it. They just lie on things, and you are expecting them to give feel embarrassed in any. What about Lodi herself? Mahila Lodi has been at this kind of a game even as their representative in the United States.
And you'd think, Colonel Thapar, that Pakistan at least would do this much of apologizing, considering they made such a big faux pas, such a big gaffe. But it truly, you know, exposes what they're made of. It really shows what shows their true colors on a global platform at this point. Colonel Thapar, thanks so much for speaking to us here on Republic TV. I also want to go across to Sushil Pandit, our contributor, who's joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Pandit, you know, you spoke to us yesterday when Republic TV had exposed Pakistan's big gaffe at the United Nations. Now we understand that in their latest ploy, in their latest tactic to cover up really that big mistake that they made, they're using the Amnesty report to peddle more lies.
Are using a false crutch to stand on. Amnesty International is the most discredited organization. When Kashmiri Hindus were expelled from Kashmir, a genocide was committed against them. Amnesty International went deaf, dumb, mute and blind. At that time, Amnesty International did not say anything. In the last 28 years, Amnesty International has not done anything. Amnesty International is culpable because it turns a blind eye to gross violations, and it is used as a tool by tormentors in India and those who want to corner India in the foreign policy arena in order to create exaggerated, tendential reports which are hardly backed with enough facts and inferences which have holes in them. Amnesty International is the Pakistan of human rights organizations. Just as Pakistan is discredited as a terror state in the Committee of Nations, Amnesty International has zero credibility in its record of human rights violation reportage. Its people, its organizing responsible executives have been often approached by us and they have turned us down.
Mr. Pandit, my point is very simple here. Why are we really surprised that Pakistan is using an Amnesty report, a report that's completely false? Why are we surprised, considering that they just a day before, 24 hours ago, put out a fake picture from Gaza saying that it's from Kashmir? That really exposes them completely. We've run out of time. Mr. Sushil Pandit, thanks for joining us on this broadcast. Thanks to Aditya as well.
Pakistan is clutching at the straws in a desperate attempt to salvage some credibility.
Yes.
They are hunting for straws in the wind to clutch at them. That is the only reason.
And I feel, it's a front possibly to shield themselves, to ensure that there are no questions posed to them on terror. Mr. Pandit, thanks so much for joining us on the broadcast.